Well, first of all, congratulations, guys. And
Thank you.
is it a bucket list thing to play a stripper?
You know, I don't know that it was a bucket list thing to play a stripper. It is now. I'm glad. I'm ecstatic that I've done it. But to work with Steven Soderbergh was a bucket list thing.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
To be in the kind of company that we were in with the group of guys that we were with was a bucket list thing. And, you know, I can't wait to do something like it again, you know.
What I love so much about Soderbergh is that he mixes it up so much.
Yeah.
Why was he the right guy to direct a film like this?
Why not? I mean, there's nothing he really can't do. And if I'm going to play a stripper, there are only a few directors I would do it with, and he's at the top of that list because I know he's going to do it in the most authentic way possible. And so as soon as I heard he was on board and I was going to get to work with these guys, it was just, you know, kind of a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Why not?
You knew you were
terrifying,
in good hands.
and you know, it was certainly going to have to, all of us were going to have to step way out of our comfort zones, but
Understatement.
You mean you don't do this at home every night in your bedrooms? Come on, guys.
Once we got the part, I was running around the house shaking my hips as much as possible, trying to, you know, just get loose and find that comfort zone doing it. But it was exactly
I think it
that.
opened everybody up in a way who worked on this movie. Because we were so invested in this world for 21 days. I remember going to my sister's wedding a couple weeks after we wrapped, and at the reception, all of a sudden I started like grinding on the dance floor and like doing some full body rolls. I was like, whoa, whoa, I saw my aunt.
Get
like,
a hold of yourself.
What are you doing? It's like, oh, sorry. I was like, okay, I gotta let it go. It's time to let go.
Yeah, it's funny. It did the same thing for me in the sense that like I've never fancied myself as a dancer, and now I love dancing. Any kind of dance. I mean, I had a dance battle the other night at a bar in Brooklyn. I was back in New York, and I went to some bar, and some kid wanted to challenge me on the dance floor. And we battled to James Brown, and I just all of a sudden had these moves that you know, that I'm like, I don't know if they were, you know, leftovers from Magic Mike, or they were sort of dormant for the last, however many years.
Don't worry about it, just do it.
It is. It really opened it up. I mean, it was such a great feeling.
Do you remember the very first time that you stepped on the stage and what you were feeling? You know, the first time you had to kind of do it in front of the guys.
Sure. Well, the rehearsals were really intimidating because the crowd was smaller for the rehearsals. It was really just the crew and the guys, and you know, somehow you're more self-conscious in that moment because the energy's different. It was sort of like, okay, let's see where this is at and how we're gonna film it, and you just. I personally felt much more self-conscious in those moments. But when it was showtime and the girls were out there, you just let go.
It was electric. I mean, it was like we got to rehearse a play for 3 weeks, and then and we knew we were ironing out some kinks, and then all of a sudden it was the tech rehearsal where we had to do it in front of everybody, and then Steven called action, and it was opening night, and you know there were hundreds of people out there with ones and fives, screaming, and you were just going to have to go do your thing, and things you weren't aware were worked, and things that you thought were going to be great, maybe didn't work so well, and so it was really interesting.
But to have the crowd there was amazing because you knew immediately what was working, what wasn't
kinetic.
working.
It was there was an energy.
Completely.
It was
adrenaline city.
Oh yeah.
Once you started, you really couldn't get enough. I mean, I would have done 100 takes and been happy to do 100 takes.
After we did the majority of the scenes, I didn't sleep at night.
Yeah.
I mean, it was still so.
It was a rush.
Wow.
So I understood why people would need a couple drinks or to go out and party till 5 a.m. to go to sleep, because it's a real endorphin rush to go out there and just be that naked, literally and figuratively, in front of a group of strangers.
Do you guys think you'd do this again?
Oh, I would.
With this group of guys?
Well, I mean, not necessarily. I mean, it's just, you know, such an amazing experience, I think, but I think it's something that you could learn from, you know, like about yourselves, I think.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, anytime I think you face your fears, you know, and that something scares you and you immediately run right at it as opposed to away from it, I think that's when you really learn about yourself, you know, and you bond.
Everybody to it, I think.
100%.
And then just the lack of shame, you know.
Yeah.
To be able to have no shame in the game and go out there and do your thing, you know.
Let it all hang out.
Great.
Yeah, and you're on stage, you're all fairly naked, and you're all kind of looking at each other's bodies like, you know, not in a sexual way or anything, but just, you know, whatever. Like, is there any kind of competition like, oh, he's a little more ripped than me?
No, you know, I think all that competition, I think everybody that was involved is a competitor in their own right. We all want to be successful. We all want to give this 100%. We all want to make it the best that it could be. And so all of the preparation that went into what led up to showing up on stage in those days, I think that's where the competition existed, you know, within ourselves. I mean, I was in the mirror as I'm working out, as I'm getting ready for this thing, like, okay, am I there yet? Am I there yet? You know, every meal was a competition with myself. Like, what am I not going to eat? What am I going to do to be ready?
Yeah, and just like any film, I mean, we're all a slave to the story. You know what I
Right.
mean? So it was just about getting yourself to the place where you're going to be able to tell the story in the best way possible for somebody who's such an incredible filmmaker. And so, and I think Channing did such a great job of setting a tone where everybody felt special.
Absolutely.
And our choreographers,
Absolutely.
Alison Falk and Teresa Espinosa, did such a great job making everybody feel, giving everybody things they could do and feel good, like they were good at doing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, those
And
girls gave us
that
the
just
confidence
set
for
a
sure.
tone that was, that just sort of, I feel like, emboldened everybody and made everybody want to bring their best, which is kind of the best case scenario, is when you create an environment where everybody wants to bring their best, not to be better than anybody else, but just to make the best
Be your
whole.
best, yeah.
You know?
Be fully committed, and everybody really was. And you know, you touched on something that I just want to reiterate. That Channing really did set a great vibe. You know, from the first phone call that he made when everybody was just getting on board to showing up on set, and you know, it really set the tone for an environment where everybody felt comfortable with each other. You know, and we really were able to bond, and you see that in the backstage scenes where we're talking. I mean, you know, we're all in character, but to be that comfortable and, like you said, to be able to improvise that way with people, there really has to be a lot of trust, and there was that.
Yeah. How tough is it to do the breakaway clothes? I've never tried that.
They're a lot more difficult than you might think, actually, because they malfunction. They'll come apart before it's time sometimes, and you know, you go to rip, and if you don't get the right angle on the rip, they don't just tear off right away. So, you know, there's a little bit of skill involved in getting that to go the way you want it.
And the thong has to be placed just right, I would think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you would think right on that.
Yeah.
It has to be just right.
Yeah. Make sure everything's locked in when
Locked
that tearaway
in.
happens.
Locked in and loaded.
Locked and loaded.
You guys, you know, being the TV veterans that you are, doing something like a TV series, as long as, especially like, you know, as long as you guys have been doing it, and then you get to do movies like this. I mean, amazing. It must be so amazing for you guys.
Dream come true. Dream come true. I mean, again, to work with Steven Soderbergh, to work with this group of guys, to not only to work with this group of guys, but to have this group of guys be as cool and as comfortable with each other as we were. You know, it's just one of those things, as you're going through it, you know how special a moment in time this is in your life and your career, and you just go, if it could always be like this, you know, you'd be the luckiest person on the face of the earth.
Yeah, like
A
where,
lot to be grateful for.
what's
you know?
next for both of you? Let's start with you.
I'm doing-
Aside from the TV shows, but like in terms of movies and stuff?
I finish up this season of the show in the end of August, and then I'm doing a film in the fall in LA called You Don't Love Me Yet. And then I'm doing one called The Normal Heart after that in New York.
I love that play.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Oh, it just gave me goosebumps. And how about you?
You know, I'm sort of just, the show that I've been doing for a long time is canceled, and I am just getting out on the market for the first time in a very long time, and I'm really excited. It's sort of all unknown to me right now. A couple of things in the works, but nothing's set in stone, and so I'm just, I'm enjoying the free falling right now, waiting to see where I land.
Movie, so when people see it,
Yeah.
I think
I was going to say, I don't think you guys both have anything to worry about, but great job on CSI, by the way. And congratulations to both of you. And as I've said before, you know, you can always fall back on the stripping, my friend.
You know,
I think we'll
parties
stick
for
to
the
the
right people,
acting
you
for
know,
now.
but I think,
Yeah, I've got my purse. I'll pay you later. Thank you so
Nice.
much.
Thank
Great
you so
talking to
much.
you.